Today I am going to discuss benefits of probiotics. So let's start. Probiotics are defined as live microorganisms that have beneficial effects on the host by improving its intestinal microbial balance. That is good for the digestion of food taken and for the efficient utilization of nutrients from that food, and that would help for the better growth and development of an organism. If we look into the history of probiotics, then a scientist known as Ali Mechnikov, who was Russian, uh, that was the person who first time worked on probiotics. He was Russian. He was known as a father of modern immunology uh, at the start of 20th century while he was working at Pasteur Institute. So he got the idea of probiotics. So actually at that time he did not use the term probiotics. Rather than he used the term acid producing bacteria. So in 1907 he proposed that acid producing bacteria in the fermented milk products could prevent fouling in the large intestine, and if consumed regularly, they may lead to a longer and healthier life. In 1930s, a Japanese scientist, Minoru Shirota, he developed a product named as Yakult. Actually, that product was made by the fermentation of a mixture of skimmed milk with a special strain of Lactobacillus casei Shirota. That was the first probiotic product made by some scientists. Later on, the term probiotic was introduced in 1965 by Lilly and Stilwell. This is something about the history of probiotics. At first, these were known as acid-producing bacteria, uh, which can be used for the fermentation of milk, and that fermented milk is useful for for uh, for for us. Later on, these were termed as probiotics. So if we look into the microbiota of a newborn baby, that actually depends on different factors. Mainly the mother's microbiota, that actually the vaginal and intestinal flora that contributes to that, the microbiota of newborn, and then how the baby is being delivered, what was the environment at the time of birth, and also the different genetic factors contributed by parents to their offspring. So these all factors, they actually may make the micro biota of a newborn. So after the infantry stage, the probiotics are actually supplied by food, like such as lactic acid fermented foods, like yogurt, like the cheese, and also by different probiotic supplements. Now we see different factors affecting the intestinal microbiota. So there are different factors that can discourage the concentration of probiotics in the gastrointestinal tract of an organism. Uh, First of all, the antibiotics. if you are using uh, uh, sets of antibiotics and also different drugs, so they may discourage the concentration of probiotics of an organism. So because they have antimicrobial effects, so that is not good for the probiotic concentration of an organism. Then different microbial infections like some bacterial infections and fungal infections, they may damage the concentration of probiotics. Uh, Another factor is the diet you are taking. As you know, nowadays we are depending on junk food mainly. That is highly processed and low fiber. So that is not good for the concentration of probiotics. So then another factor is chronic diarrhea. That is also not good for the uh, concentration of probiotics. Actually, that would wipe out the probiotics out of the body. So uh, and also the different stress factors. If you are living in a stressed environment, as nowadays the people they have depression, they have different anxiety problems. So these factors are also uh, reducing the probiotics in an organism. Moreover, use of chlorinated water, radiation therapies, chemotherapies, as the cancer patient, they have to go through these kind of therapies. So these factors, they may reduce the probiotic concentration of an organism. Now we see that what are the properties of good probiotics, uh, or I would say that a good probiotic should have these properties, like they should have the ability to survive the passage through the gastrointestinal tract, and they should have a very good property to attach to the intestinal epithelia and to get colonized. They must be very good, viable. They should be able to utilize the nutrients and substrates present in a normal diet intake. They must not be non-pathogenic. They must not be pathogenic. They must be pathogenic. They must not be non-pathogenic uh, and non-toxic. So otherwise, they would give rise to different diseases. In that way, they may exert different beneficial effects on the host. They should have the ability to be stable with their properties during processing, storage, and transportation. And also, they should be anti-inflammatory, anti-mutagenic, as well as immunostimulatory. They should not be immunodepressive. These are different properties for a good probiotic. Now we we see that how probiotics work. Actually, they work in different directions. If I divide their actions in three lines, so that would be like immunomodulation, normalization of intestinal microbiota, and their metabolic effects. So, first of all, I would discuss their role as immunomodulators. So, as immunomodulators, they they would do to they will be involved in two benefits. like the balance of immune response of an organism and also the strengthening of innate immunity. So in that way, they would alleviate food allergy symptoms in infants, and also and they would be helpful to control inflammatory bowel diseases. So that was their action as immunomodulators. Now we see their effect as normalizing intestinal microbiota composition. So by normalizing intestinal microbiota composition, they would help to control different inflammatory problems like inflammatory bowel diseases and irritable bowel syndromes. And also that normalization would give a resistance to the host, to the to the organism against different pathogenic bacterial infections like the endogenous pathogens. They may cause antibiotic associated diarrhea and also resistance against the exogenous pathogens. They may cause traveler's diarrhea. So in both cases, that normalization provided by the probiotics would give a resistance. Now we come to the third line of action, that is their metabolic effects provided by the probiotics. And these are supplying the short chain fatty acids and vitamins, and also reducing the level of toxigenic and mutagenic reactions in the gut system. So in both ways, they would contribute to reduce the risk of colon cancer. Moreover, by breakdown of bile salt, they would reduce the level of cholesterol, and also by hydrolysis of lactose, they would help to improve lactose tolerance in an organism. So you see how probiotics function in different directions by they are helping to against different inflammation, as well as they are providing immunity against different allergens, and as well as they are providing the resistance against different pathogenic bacteria, and also they are giving different metabolic effects to reduce the risk of different cancers, and also they are improving the lactose tolerance of an organism. Moreover, if we go to more details, then actually they reduce the pH of intestine, and that would give to an acidic condition, and that acidic condition would inhibit the bacterial contaminations by different pathogenic bacteria like Clostridium, like Salmonella, like Shigella, and pathogenic E. coli. And also, these probiotics would help to absorb different minerals like calcium due to this acidity. Moreover, by producing beta D galactosidase enzyme, they would help to break down the lactose, and also by providing a range of antimicrobial substances like acidophilin and bacteriocins. They would help to control the pathogenic bacterial infections. Moreover, they would give rise to production of different vitamins like vitamin B and vitamin K, and acting as a barrier to prevent the harmful bacteria for colonizing the intestines. A species of lactobacillus, that is Lactobacillus bulgaricus, that break down enzyme like beta glucuronidase in that way that would prevent the risk of colon cancer because that enzyme may contribute to the growth of cancer causing agents. And also different lactic acid bacteria, they break down the bile in the gut, so inhibit its reabsorption and by the blood, so that is why that is reducing the cholesterol level. And by different lactic acid bacteria, the production of ACE inhibition like peptides that would help to reduce blood pressure problems uh, in the host. So their role as anti-allergens is also determined by different structural modification of antigens and by normalizing the different indigenous microbiota and a regulation of different secretion of inflammatory mediators and promoting the development of immune system. So in that way, they stimulate the immune response and regulate the serum IgE levels, and also by reducing Th2 cytokine response. So the in that way, probiotics are helping an organism to fight against different uh, health problems. These are some examples of different probiotic strains from lactobacillus and from bifidobacterium and some other species like streptococcus, salivarius, like enterococcus faecium, and many others. Now, another point is the consumption of probiotics. So minimum consumption should be 100 gram of probiotics food. That would give rise to per day. That would give rise to 10 raised to power 7 colony forming units per gram. Another aspect of probiotics usage is that they should not be used weekly or monthly. Rather than they must be used regularly, I mean daily, because they have a problem that they do not permanently adhere to the intestine, but they exert different effects as they metabolize and grow during their passage through the intestine. So, if you want to get uh, uh, maximum benefits from probiotics, then these must be used daily. Nowadays, in the markets, uh, we see different multi probiotics. So there is a new concept that instead of using one strain based probiotics, now there is a trend to use multi-strain probiotics based products like multibionta, like acidophilus pulse and etc. So you see more than one species of probiotics are used in these products. So in that way, they are supposed to be more beneficial than single strain based probiotic products. So these were all the beneficial aspects of probiotics. There are some side effects of probiotics. So these are not uh, the negative effects, but these are the side effects. Like in rare cases, they may cause bloating, diarrhea, or abdominal pain. For example, if they are used in excess, that may give rise to different severe infections. And some people those have immunodeficiency problems, short bowel syndromes, cardiac wall disease, and also the premature infants. They may be at high risk for their adverse effects. And also the people having some underlying disease or compromised immune system, they may get potential health problems like the skin rashes, like the fever, bloody stool, etc. Sometimes probiotics interact with immunosuppressive drugs, and that may lead to life-threatening conditions. So people taking such drugs should avoid probiotics. And also in severely ill people with inflammatory bowel diseases, there is a risk of passage of viable bacteria from the gastrointestinal tract to the internal organs, that is known as bacterial translocation, and as a consequence of bacteremia and fungemia, and that may lead to sepsis. Uh, Another side effect of probiotics might be like lactobacillus may cause obesity in human. So this was all about probiotics.